Hello players, welcome back to the only tech news show that's legal for you to watch but probably illegal for your nephew. I am your tech jester Buzzstringer, your government mandated age verification nightmare. If you came here from LinkedIn, be prepared to hide behind your AI generated motivational poster. But come on in, take a seat, pants off, if legally appropriate. I need to talk about my homeland, the land that once ruled the world and gave most of it back, eventually. The land of tea, stiff upper lips, and getting on with it. Standing up for what's right, eventually. By defending the world from evil and winning not once, but twice. We won 2 world wars to protect our freedoms. And today, those freedoms still exist, and they will exist for... Oh shit. Okay, so the UK has done it. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, who actually was the Prime Minister when I wrote this video, and now is not. He stood up like a substitute teacher, only with far less control of the classroom. And he declared that from spring 2027, anyone under the age of 16 is banned from social media. That's TikTok? No, that's a different website. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, X, all of it. Gone, vanished, the whole digital playground bulldozed. And the kids are being marched outside to stare at the wall. That's a real quote, by the way, from a kid. A schoolgirl in Preston was asked what she'd do with her newly freed 9 hours of weekend screen time, and she just deadpans and said, stare at the wall. 12 years old and already more dead inside than a middle manager on Monday. She's gonna be fine. Welcome to the real world. And Starmer wants to push this through Parliament before Christmas. Before Christmas! This man can't get trains to run, but he's speed running a constitutional overhaul of the entire internet like it's a Black Friday doorbuster. Yeah, we hope to pass regulation before Christmas. Dude, you couldn't pass a kidney stone before Christmas. But sure, let's rewire how 67 million people access the web by Boxing Day. Now here's where it gets a bit gloriously stupid. What survives the purge? Well, there's WhatsApp, Signal, and wait for it, Roblox. Roblox stays, the one platform on Earth with a genuinely cursed reputation. The digital equivalent of an unlit car park. The app that's had more safeguarding investigations than a 1970s BBC green room. Yeah, that one. That Roblox is fine. Okay, so for the rest of the world, the BBC had a lot of stars in the 1970s who turned out to be dicks later. It's the American equivalent of like a bunch of Bill Cosbys. There you go. The government went down the list and banned documentary channels, they banned maths tutorials, and then they got to Roblox, that one, and said, nah, that's not a problem, leave it. The kids love it. Genuinely, the energy of a bouncer who fished your grandmother for a now file, but, you know, waves through the bloke with a chainsaw and a balaclava. But here's the part that should make every single adult watching sit up and clench. Or unclench, depending on what you're sitting on. To prove you're over 16, you will have to verify your age, which means ID, which means your date of birth, facial age estimation, face scans. They want to scan your face. Every adult in Britain potentially uploading photo ID to a tech company just to look at memes. We're not banning social media for kids, we're building a national face database, and using the kids as an excuse. That's the trick. That's the whole magic act. Think of the children. Pull the curtain and surprise surveillance state. And you helped. Even Big Brother Watch are screaming about it. Actual privacy campaigners, plus an international campaign that just launched this week called Stop Killing the Internet, which is coincidentally what I yell at my router every morning. They're warning that your kid's face scan and proof of age could get stolen and leaked, because if there's one thing tech companies are famous for, it's flawlessly protecting your most sensitive data. Nothing's ever gone wrong there. Your face is safe. Your face is definitely not going to end up on the Telegram channel between a leaked Equifax stump and someone selling counterfeit Stanley Cups. To check your age, the government isn't building some secure state-level vault armed with guards and a moat, or the digital equivalent of that. No, they're outsourcing your entire identity protection to third-party verification companies. Private firms with names like Verify My, whose whole business model is give us your passport, your face, your date of birth, and trust us, we're the good guys. Yeah, one of their executives literally said face matching and document scanning are proven to work at scale. Proven to work at scale. You know what else works at scale? Data breaches. Selling that data works at scale. These are companies you've never heard of, that you didn't vote for, that you can't audit, and you certainly can't sue when your biometric faceprint ends up on the dark web somewhere between a Netflix login and a stolen Nando's loyalty card. You're not handing your ID to the government for a check, you're handing it to a middleman whose entire job is to hoard the most sensitive information a human can possess. And the second one of them goes bust or get hacked, your face is just out there forever. I mean, you could change your password, you can get new logins, but you can't change your skull, despite how many Hollywood celebrities have tried. But here's the freedom part. The part that nobody in Westminster wants you to think about for longer than 4 seconds. This always starts with protect the children, always. It's the master key that opens every locked door, because who's going to argue against safe kids? But a computer scientist from Surrey kind of put it perfectly. He warned about mission creep, that keep the children safe can quietly become 3 little, boring law amendments later, and that turns into a duty scan of every single message, verify every single face, and yeah, that's how every surveillance system in history has ever been sold. Nobody ever stands at a podium and announces, we're building a panopticon. They announced, a children's safety initiative. You nod along, because of course you do. And 10 years later, you need a face scan and a government login just to read a comment section of Pornhub. Which ironically is probably the most wholesome and inclusive comment section on the internet. Your DMs are getting pre-screened in the same suit, swear blind that it's all about the kids. We're not banning social media, we're laying the on-ramp to a permission-based internet where access to information, to speech, to each other requires you first to prove who you are to some shady private company with a logo that looks like it was designed in 20 minutes. That's a checkpoint. And once a checkpoint exists, I promise you, on my entire internet history, governments do not remove checkpoints. They add lanes. So, I will not be uploading my face scans. I'll upload another picture and send it straight to Starmer so he can suck it. I look forward to your comments. Now, does any of this even work? Australia ran this exact same play in December. They banned under-16s from social media, and the results are in. 7 out of 10 kids who had accounts before the ban still have accounts afterwards and still have access afterwards. 7 out of 10. The ban has a worse success rate than Elon Musk trying not to look like a Nazi. You cannot out-tech a 14-year-old. These children have been jailbreaking, VPNing, and spoofing their way past parental control since the womb. You're sending in the government IT department, the same people who lose an entire NHS database if they sneeze near a fax machine. You're sending them into a battle against teenagers who can build a working server out of a Raspberry Pi and pure spite. Now, tech companies are not happy about this, surprisingly. Meta said a ban could isolate teens from online communities and information and push them towards unregulated alternatives. YouTube said a blanket ban pushes kids away from curated, supervised content and beneficial spaces towards anonymous, less safe spaces and services. Snapchat said that it shares the goal of safety but doesn't agree with a full ban. And TikTok said it will examine the details and collaborate constructively. Which is corporate for we're smiling through our teeth, but inside the legal department just shit itself into a standing desk. And look, as much as we rag on the big tech companies here, that's kind of the whole thing, they do have a point. A ban does risk pushing kids into sketchier places. I mean, you ban Instagram, they don't suddenly become Victorian chimney sweeps reading leather-bound novels by candlelight. They move to some horrifying app called Gloomhole or Skibbity Vault or the Tech Jester's YouTube channel, where the dangers are much worse. And that's the actual question. Is this even child protection, or is it just political theatre with a login screen? Is it a real safety measure, or just the government blocking the Pirate Bay and saying, we stopped piracy forever? It feels like that. Adults will still be on social media because apparently we're mature enough to handle it, which is kind of hilarious. Facebook is just grandparents arguing with AI pictures of Jesus holding a prawn. Adults are not better at social media. We're worse. We built it. At least teenagers have the excuse of undeveloped brains. Grown adults go online to argue with bots called Patriot Eagle 1776 about whether clouds are controlled by Bill Gates. No, just the ones at Epstein Island. So So use a VPN. I use NordVPN, the link is below, you can check that out. But most of the big name VPNs like PIA or Proton are pretty good. You know, setting up a VPS with WireGuard is also another option, but it's a little bit more trickier, but not impossible. And speaking of not being able to access things, Valve has somehow turned buying a controller into a pilgrimage. Now, I don't have any news on the Steam Machine pricing, which is crazy, over $1,000, because in between, the price announced in between me writing this and filming it. So this is just about the Steam controller. The new Steam controller went on sale on May and sold out. The checkout went to hell, and now Valve has a reservation system where delivery estimates are by September 26, and then December 26, and now sometime in 2027 for a controller. It's not a kidney or a moon landing or a vial of Gamergirl bathwater, personally blessed by Gabe Newell. And if you reserve one today, that's straight to 2027. Do not pass go, do not collect your gamepad. You are now the proud owner of future tense. When your golden moment in the queue does finally arrive, after potentially 18 months of monetistic waiting, Valve fires you an email and you have 72 hours to complete the order or forfeit your spot, and they hand it to the next desperate soul behind you. So you wait a year and a half and you've named the controller, you've painted the nursery, you've started a college fund, and if you happen to be on holiday with shit Wi-Fi during your 3-day window, you're evicted. Back of the line, start from zero. We have your controller. You have 72 hours. Refresh your inbox or the gamepad gets it. And to even enter the queue, your Steam account has to be 3 months old and you only get one per account. This is all to thwart scalpers, which is good. I kind of support that. Which tells you, but it does tell you everything you need to know about the human race, because there are already vultures out there trying to flip a controller that doesn't physically exist yet. That's the economy now, baby. Speculative gamepad futures. And here's where it gets worse, because the poor Steam controller is also hostage to its own family. Valve's launching the Steam Machine, their console-shaped gaming PC, and that thing ships with a controller in the box. Although we just had the announcement with new information, and you can choose not to have the controller. But the ones that ship with the controller in the box physically can't leave the factory without one. So every single controller Valve manages to scrape together out of the silicon famine gets bundled into a Steam Machine before one loose unit ever reaches your sad little outstretched hand. So here's where the dust settles. You can reserve a controller, you'll receive it in a year, in a delivery window so vague that it's basically astrology, hostage to a console that doesn't exist, sold to you by one company on planet Earth that is physically, technologically, theologically incapable of counting to 3. And we'll all do it. We'll join the queue because we'll set a calendar reminder that just says 2027 ? And a little broken heart emoji. Because deep down, every PC gamer is a little golden retriever who just heard the word walkies. We don't care if it's real. We don't care if there's a lead in your hand. We just heard the word and now my whole back half is wagging. Okay, my back half was wagging before we started the video, but you get the point. Okay, so that's the end of this video. I'm gonna wag off. Stay sexy and be excellent to each other. I was in court and the judge said to me, "Do you swear to tell the truth?" I said, "No, I only do it when I'm angry."